All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It is Wednesday. Wanderlust Wednesday just creeps up on you, doesn't it? I keep looking at my list, and I got all kinds of bands. I got all kinds of stuff. We can just keep going with this. Sometimes it's just hard to pick. It's still hard to pick, even after all this time. I mean, we've had some really good ones on here, and I'm looking forward to just keeping this Wednesday going. And today is no exception. We're going back right now to 1991. How about that, people? There's a 9 in front of the decade. That doesn't happen a ton, does it? And so we're going back, and still, I say 1991, and, we're still talking 30 years later. Sorry. All right, so we're talking about this band, Drivin N Cryin. Who knows this band, Drivin N Cryin? Anyone? I know who does. I know at least one person that knows. Hunter, I know you're out there. Because we almost went to see them in concert just before the pandemic hit. But this band was formed in 1985 in Atlanta, Georgia. They were signed they got an indie deal in 1986. And after having the usual story where after a year of just going up and up the Atlanta scene and getting popular, they put out an album on that indie label, and that got them a tour. So they did some more touring, and they were signed to Island Records in 1987. And at that time, they picked up two guys. They picked up these two cats. One of them, the name was Jeff Sullivan, who was coming off of a band called Mr. Crow's Garden. Yes, that's right. Later to become the Black Crows. So he joined. And then this other guy joined, and he was the guitar tech and touring rhythm guitar player for REM, also a Georgia band. Buren Fowler, that was his name. And in 88, they put out a record, their first really big label that they got signed to, and that went to number 130, but it had 2 songs on there. This music, it sounds a little bit like, it sounds a little bit like Black Crowes-ish, maybe with a mixture of White Stripes in there, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's hard to describe, right? But they put out another record in 89, and that had 2 songs on it that became live staples at their shows. But really what we're talking about is 1991, when they totally pretty much reinvented themselves and went all in on heavy guitar. And that's what Fly Me Courageous was. This was just a heavy hitter, and I don't even know how I heard about this record. I was working in a record store. It might have been a cassette that showed up in the store. Maybe one of the songs was on a playlist that got sent to us. But this record, I just wore this cassette out in my Chevy Spectrum. And this album went gold. It was their most commercially successful record. They ended up touring with Neil Young and Soul Asylum. Remember Soul Asylum? And then 93, they did a follow-up that was equally as heavy but didn't quite catch on as much. And by 94, they were kind of trying to go back to their roots, and they did all kinds of projects and side projects on and off ever since then. But they did tour again right before the pandemic, and we were going to check them out. But this record, you might recognize some of the songs when you hear the song, and you may just not know who it was. But there's a handful of songs on this record that I just really like. It's going to be, I don't even have a song of the day because you have to listen to all these. But you got Chain Reaction, Fly Me Courageous, which is one of the ones you would have heard. Look What You've Done to Your Brother. The Innocent may have been played, and Build a Fire definitely was played on the radio somewhere along the way. So these are songs, you need to check out this whole record, but those are the highlights there. And I dig it. I don't know, I dig this music. I want to know what you think. If you've never heard of them before, give it a listen. Yeah, it's a little heavy, but it's not metal. It's just heavy, good guitar rock. And I like his voice. So check these out. No particular song of the day because I love all of these songs. I mean, Build a Fire and Fly Me Courageous are their probably the most accessible ones from this record. But we're going to post them all below. Let me know what you think when you listen to it. Let me know if you knew about them ahead of time. Love your comments. Keep them coming. Another Wednesday in the books. It's a wrap. Have a good one. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.